In today's video, we're going to be diving into Yuki's story, one of the most emotional and unforgettable stories in all of Sword Art Online. Although her time in the series was short, the impact she left behind would never be forgotten. One day, Asuna was spending time with her friends at the cabin when the conversation turned to a rumor that had been spreading. Apparently, there was a mysterious player known only as Zekken. Zekken spent her time challenging other players to duels, and despite facing some of the strongest players in Alfheim, she remained completely undefeated. As news of her victories spread, more and more players sought her out, hoping to become the first person to defeat her. Every single one of them failed. Even Kirito had challenged Zekken to a duel, and he lost. After hearing all of this, Asuna decided that she would challenge Zekken herself the next day. Little did she know that decision would end up changing her life forever. The following day, Asuna headed to the arena where Zekken was waiting. As soon as the duel began, Asuna realized why nobody had been able to defeat her. Yuki was incredibly fast, and within moments, Asuna found herself being pushed back. But Asuna refused to give up. She continued fighting with everything she had, eventually pushing Yuki further than anyone else ever had. Even so, Asuna was ultimately defeated. However, instead of celebrating her victory, Yuki did something completely unexpected. She reached out her hand, and together the two flew away from the crowd. And before we continue, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That's when Yuki revealed that the duel had never been her real goal. The truth was, she had been searching for someone. And after fighting Asuna, she believed she finally found the person she was looking for. Yuki then took Asuna to meet the rest of her guild, a group known as the Sleeping Knights. It was there that Yuki finally explained everything. The reason she had been challenging players to duels was because she was searching for the strongest player possible to help her guild accomplish their final goal. The Sleeping Knights wanted to defeat a floor boss with only the 7 of them. Asuna was shocked. It usually took around 50 players working together just to bring down a single boss. The idea that only 7 players could do it seemed almost impossible, but the Sleeping Knights had a reason for wanting to try. If they managed to defeat the boss on their own, all 7 of their names would be permanently engraved on the Monument of Swordsmen, a memorial that recorded the names of every player who had defeated a floor boss. Even though it felt impossible, Asuna agreed to help them. The Sleeping Knights began preparing for the boss raid. They made their way to the boss room, but when they arrived, something was wrong. Around 20 players were standing right in front of the entrance, blocking the door. That's when Asuna stepped forward and asked what was going on. The group explained that they were waiting for the rest of their guild to arrive before starting the fight. They refused to move no matter what. Yuki looked at the group and asked them if they wanted to fight. Asuna turned to her in shock. But Yuki didn't hesitate. Sometimes you had to fight to get your point across. Before the fight even started, the group already knew they were outnumbered. And then things got worse. When they turned around, they saw another group of players coming toward them, and now there were too many of them to deal with. But that's when Kirito showed up. At first, the group didn't think much of it. It was just one guy. But Kirito isn't just any player. They fired magic spells at him, and everyone expected him to go down instantly. Instead, he sliced through the magic midair like it was nothing, and that's when they started taking him seriously. With Kirito taking care of the players behind them, the group turned their attention back to the group blocking the boss room. Now that the pressure from behind was gone, they didn't hesitate. One by one, they pushed forward and started breaking through their opponents. The fight didn't last long, and before they even realized it, the path was clear. So they stepped forward and entered the boss room. Inside the boss room, the Sleeping Knights wasted no time. The fight started immediately, and at first, things were going surprisingly well. Everyone was working together perfectly, dodging attacks, landing hits, and slowly pushing the boss back. But then they noticed something. The boss had a weak spot, a glowing jewel on its chest. Yuki reacted instantly. Using her agility and sword skills, she leapt high into the air. Then she drove her blade straight into the jewel, and then it shattered. Just like that, the boss was defeated. After the boss was defeated, the Sleeping Knights couldn't contain their excitement. They couldn't believe they'd actually done it. To celebrate, they went to Asuna's house, still laughing and talking about what had just happened, like it didn't feel real. Next, they went to check the Monument of Swordsmen. When they got there, they saw it. All 7 of their names had been engraved there. Proof that everything they just did was real. During the fight, Yuki had called Asuna sis, and she said it again while they were standing there. Asuna smiled and brought it up, teasing her about it. But Yuki didn't respond the way she expected. She went silent. Then suddenly, she started crying. Before Asuna could ask what was wrong, Yuki quickly logged out. And just like that, she was gone. leaving Asuna confused. 3 days had passed and Yuki still hadn't logged in. Asuna kept checking her messages, hoping for some kind of reply, but there was nothing. And it wasn't just Yuki. None of the sleeping knights were responding anymore. So Asuna went back to the place where they had all first met, and that's where Siune showed up. She thanked Asuna, saying that everyone in the sleeping knights was truly grateful for everything she had done for them. She explained that Yuki didn't want to see her anymore, and that it would be best if Asuna didn't contact any of them again. Before Asuna could even process what she had heard, Siune turned away and left quickly. But Asuna wasn't going to give up that easily. That's when Kirito reached out and told her he might have found something. There was a hospital nearby running clinical trials for a device called the Medicuboid. Asuna didn't understand what it meant at first, but she was about to find out. So she went to the hospital, but she wasn't even sure what to say at first. She didn't even know if Yuki was her real name or anything else about her outside the game. But then she said her name, Asuna. And when she did, one of the nurses paused. It looked like she recognized her. Without saying much else, the nurse told her to wait and quickly went to get someone. And that's when Asuna realized she'd come to the right place. A few moments later, a man came out to meet her, and he introduced himself as Yuuki Konno's doctor. And that's when she found out what was really going on with Yuki. The doctor started by explaining what the Medicuboid actually was. It was a medical full-dive VR system designed for terminally ill patients. Unlike normal VR, it was built to block out pain completely and give patients a peaceful, virtual environment while they were being treated. Then he told Asuna that Yuki Konno was one of those patients. When Yuki was born, there were complications during the delivery. Her mother needed a blood transfusion to survive, but the blood that was used had been contaminated with HIV. But they didn't realize it at the time. It took months before the infection was discovered. But by then, it had already spread through the family. For the past 2 years, she had been using the Medicuboid in a constant full-dive state, just to block out the pain and make things more bearable. Yuki's parents also passed away 2 years ago. Then last year, she lost her older sister, Aiko. That's why Yuki sometimes called Asuna Sis. Asuna was devastated hearing all of this. She couldn't hold it in anymore, and tears started to form as everything finally sank in. But then Yuki told her not to cry, and she asked Asuna to meet up with her in-game. So when she finally logged into the game, she rushed straight to the meeting spot. And that's when she saw her. Asuna immediately ran up to her, completely relieved. Yuki smiled softly and apologized right away. She told Asuna that she never meant to hurt or worry her. Then she finally explained the truth. The reason she disappeared so suddenly was because she didn't have much time left to live. Yuki went quiet for a moment, then said there were things she wished she could do before she goes. She mentioned that she wanted to go to school again, just once, and Asuna thought she could make that happen. Around that time, Kirito had been working on a new piece of technology that allowed Yui to interact with people in the real world. The device allowed its user to see and communicate with the real world, making it possible for someone in full dive to experience things outside the hospital. Realizing this could make Yuki's wish come true, Asuna and Kirito connected her to the device. And just like that, Yuki was finally able to go to school. She attended classes, read along with everyone else, and got to talk with Asuna's classmates. Before long, everyone in the class had gathered around Asuna, excited to meet Yuki and speak with her. After school, Asuna decided to take Yuki somewhere special. The two of them traveled to Yuki's old house, the place where she had lived with her family before being transferred to the hospital full-time. When they arrived, Yuki couldn't help but reminisce about the time she spent there. She talked about the memories she had with her parents and her sister Aiko, remembering the happy moments they had shared together as a family. A little while later, Asuna received the message she had been dreading. Yuki's condition had changed, and according to the doctors, she didn't have much time left. Knowing this might be their last chance to see each other, Asuna logged into Alfheim Online to be with Yuki one final time. Yuki thanked Asuna for everything she had done for her and said that she was so grateful they had met. Then, Yuki gave Asuna one final gift. She passed down her original sword skill, Mother's Rosario, the 11-hit combo. But Asuna wasn't the only person who came to say goodbye. The members of the Sleeping Knights all logged in to be there for Yuki's final moments. And before long, hundreds of other players began arriving as well. News had spread across Alfheim Online, and players from all over the game came to pay their respects. Many of them had never even met Yuki, but they had all been touched by her in some way. She was the strongest player in the game, and there would never be anyone like her again. And that concludes the story of Yuki Konno. Even though her time in Sword Art Online was short, the impact she left behind was unforgettable. Through everything she went through, Yuki never gave up. Instead, she chose to spend the time she had left making memories, helping others, and living her life to the fullest. She may have been the strongest player in the game, but what truly made Yuki special wasn't her strength. It was her kindness, her courage, and the way she touched the lives of everyone around her. Years after Mother's Rosario first aired, many fans still consider Yuki's story to be one of the most emotional moments in all of anime, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Sword Art Online videos. And as always, thanks for watching.